Okay. Groovy. Alright, so welcome. We are doing some video editing today. I've got probably about 2 dozen videos that I have to produce. And so I'm going to get started with these. So I figured if you're interested in learning some of the creative processes involved with Adobe Creative Cloud, this might be useful. So today I'll be working in Adobe Premiere, maybe some work in After Effects, and Audition as well. So, alright. So what we've been doing is we're doing training videos at the day job. And so I've got myself a script written for this video. And so what I'm going to do next is probably voice it over. So what we've done already here is we've gone ahead and set up our, we've done some basic so far. Okay, but what I want to do here, so as we go through this, the videos that I'm doing are teaching software for some doctors. And so I have to keep them short and sweet. So what we're doing here is putting in a cut just to get rid of some of this extraneous clicks and things like that. Okay. So to give you an idea of my setup here, we're on a workstation with a Xeon processor. We've got a RX 480 for a video card. I'm working on 4 monitors. Yeti mic for the actual recording, which I'm not using right now because I have to use that for Adobe Audition. But what we did here is we went ahead. Oh, and additionally, I have 2 X keys, one 56 key unit, the other a 12 key with a jogged shuttle. Really nice to set up all of my shortcuts and things like that. Use Adobe enough, and you're probably going to want to use shortcuts. So let's just take a look, see how that cut went. Okay, not really noticeable. Okay, so at this point we're going to zoom in on this. So just for giggles, I'm probably going to put a cut here, just to make it a little bit easier for me to manage. And we're going to set up a keyframe for position and scale. So what we're going to be doing is zooming in to show off where the mouse is clicking. I don't really want to mess with the anchor point, just because it's not really going to help me that much. So I would rather zoom in, and we're going to see. So there's our mouse right there. So at this point, my person doing the demonstration was clicking on this icon, but I made a mistake already. One thing I want to do with my keyframes is make sure that we have one at the base with if you notice here, I've got 1920 by 1080 for the position and the scale at 100. So I want to set that as my base. I'm going to skip ahead of frame. But not too many, because I want to catch the actual activity on the screen. So the system that we're doing a demonstration on is called CareStream, and it's for radiology work. But just FYI, none of the data I'm using today has any patient information. This is actually a sea turtle. So it's kind of nice. I can actually work and show you guys what I'm doing without having to risk any patient privacy. There we go. Okay, so what I'm doing is, I don't like that this is so far down. I'm gonna have to caption this and all that kind of stuff. So we're gonna go back to that last keyframe. We're gonna bring this up a little bit. But because it's not dead center in the screen, we're gonna draw some attention to it. So the way you wanna do this, we need to go ahead and create something here. All right, where did that go? It should actually be in the editing pane there. There we go. So we're gonna create a transparent video layer. The reason being is we're gonna draw something on here. Now, I actually had a transparent layer already built, so I don't need two. We're gonna take this, we're gonna drop that right there, because the next thing we're gonna do is I need, let's go to assembly, or no, I'm sorry, effects. I'm gonna put a circle. So you'll see it created that little circle right there. Well, we don't want to use white, we're going to use a nice bright red. And since we want to encircle it, we're going to change this to a thickness and radius. We're going to increase the size. And we're going to center it right there. So now, if we're watching the playback, as you can see, it showed up there. But I'm actually going to adjust the positioning just a little bit, because I want it to be kind of dead center. There we go. Not bad. Okay. I'm probably going to do something to draw that out. So what I may end up doing I think we're going to move it. This may get a little complicated, but let's try it. No, actually, we're gonna cut that down. We're gonna place another one right there with another circle. again, I want to make sure I have this high enough off the bottom of the screen so that I don't have to adjust my captions when I put that in there. So. Okay. Now, what we're going to do is make this a little bit less jarring. So we're going to put a keyframe here. For the opacity. We're going to drop another one in here. We're going to drop it down to 0. And we're going to do the same thing back here. Keyframe at 0. Then a new keyframe at 100%. So what that did is it makes it a little bit less jarring. And I like that so much that we're going to do the same thing here. So I want a keyframe there at 0. Keyframe there at 100%. Okay, so what this did is made it a little bit less jarring. Let me see. Just a little bit of a nicer transition for that ring. Okay, so that is the basics so far. So we're going to see, we're just going to watch what we have so far. So at this point, the voiceover would be going on. Let me explain what we're doing. And it looks like my doctor was going a little long-winded. So what we're going to do here, so I'm probably going to put a cut in right here. Actually, no. What I'm going to do is at this point, we have the keyframes that are here. So what we did here is made it do it like a zoom out. Now I'm going to cut some of this material here because the doctor who was doing this was doing it multiple times. So all this is extraneous. And I'm going to cut out this whole scene of the window moving on. Because it should just pop up on my user's screen. So we're going to cut here. Okay, so we're going to kind of pretend that as that our user clicked on this, and as it's zooming out, will be when the window came up. Grab this, slide it over. So let's just see. There we go. Not bad. So what this does is it gave us a little bit of a transition. So it makes it nice and smooth. The idea is when I'm recording these videos, we use multiple monitors. I don't want to do this like a multi-camera. And so it's easier for me just to kind of fake it a little bit. So instead of seeing the window drag over, we're just going to pretend it popped up exactly where I wanted it to. And then once it's up, we'll go ahead and zoom into it, but I need to figure out my timing. So we're going to do that by actually voicing over our voiceover. Okay, so let's see here. I'm going to put my script on one monitor, and then we're going to do the recording on this one. I'm going to start this file over. So my studio is in an office at a hospital. So it's not the most acoustically best location, but it will do the trick. So, all right. Now we're going to go ahead and voice this over. So I went ahead and opened Adobe Audition. I'll voice this as one track with the idea that I will just cut it into pieces as I need to match up with what's happening in the video. It's not that hard to do. I just prefer it this way so I can have the recording in as many takes as I want. So if you look here, you'll see my script that I wrote. Not that that's very entertaining or interesting, but there you go. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and start voicing this over. This is Bone Camp script, take one. All radiologists, including residents and fellows, have access to the Bone Camp teaching file. Ooh, right, I'm getting reverb because I'm hearing myself through the headphones, so I'm actually going to take my headphones off for this. Okay. Take two. All radiologists, including residents and fellows, have access to the Bone Camp teaching file. You can access your teaching file by clicking on the TF icon located on the left-hand side of your RAD desktop display. All right, we're getting reverb from the headphones, so I'm going to do this over again. And for the time being, how can I do this? I'm actually going to shut off my sound so that I can't hear it. So I don't want any reverb to kick through, otherwise it's going to cause problems. All right. Bone Camp, take three. All radiologists, including residents and fellows, have access to the Bone Camp teaching file. You can access your teaching file by clicking on the TF icon located on the left-hand side of your RAD desktop display. No good. Take four. All radiologists, including residents and fellows, have access to the Bone Camp teaching file. You can access your teaching file by clicking on the TF icon located on the left side of your RAD desktop display. To add an image to your teaching file, first scroll to that image in CareStream. Click on the Export tab on the top right-hand side of CareStream and select Bone Camp teaching file. A website will pop up which will display your image. In the top annotation window, enter your findings. Below, you will enter a brief annotation to characterize picking up at a website. A website will pop up which will display your image. In the top annotation window, enter your findings. Below, you will have picking up again at a website. A website will pop up which will display your image. In the top annotation window, enter your findings. Below, you will enter a brief annotation to categorize your image, as well as any additional annotations you may have. Select Update and Close to save the image. If you would like to forward the image, you can select picking up at if. If you would like to forward the image, you can select an attending, picking up at if again. If you would like to forward the image, you can select an attending from the bottom menu, then click Assign this attending and send current image. This will forward the image and notes to the attendings. I just wrote that poorly. Picking up one more time at if. If you would like to forward the image, you can select an attending from the bottom menu, then click Assign this attending and send current image. This will forward the image and notes to the attending's own BoneCamp teaching file for their review. All right. Something weird happened. It looks like I crashed out Adobe. Maybe, maybe not. Okay. So now let's hear what we got. Not my best work. This is BoneCamp. All radiologists, including residents and fellows, have access to the BoneCamp teaching file. Ooh, right, I'm getting reverb because I'm hearing myself through the headphones, so I'm actually going to take my headphones off for this. All radiologists, including residents, located. All right. BoneCamp take 3. All radiologists, including residents and fellows, have access to the BoneCamp teaching file. You can access your teaching file by clicking on the TF icon located on the left-hand side of your red desktop. Okay, so I totally screwed that up. And I'm getting some popping. So, you know what? I'm going to try something slightly different. Let's go ahead and create a new audio file. Where to call this? Because I had gotten lazy and had not opened up a new file. So